Ms. Cole, you have a somewhat different story about how you had possession of this Jeep.
Yes, Your Honor.
So why don't you tell me your story?
Okay, I was at work at LA Tan. I had started working at 9 o'clock. Clark brought up that Jeep and asked me if he could take my car. He was going to put some engine oil in it to make it run better. And I said, yes, you can do that. And he didn't show back by the time I got off at work, so I did drive the car. I mean, I'd driven the car once before. I didn't think it was a big deal. And we only had it for about an hour before it did this. We only had it in four-wheel drive for maybe 25 feet.
Ms. Cole, you had driven his Jeep before?
Yes.
Had she driven your car before?
Not to my knowledge, no, ma'am, I didn't know.
Where did you drive the car before?
To school one time, but I never borrowed the car from him.
You borrowed it from somebody who had borrowed it from him?
Yes, Clark, who had left the car.
Okay. But you had driven the car before?
Yes, one other time.
So the reason you're telling me you took the car, his Jeep, was because he left the Jeep and the keys.
Yes, ma'am.
At your place of business.
Yes.
And said, I'll take your Mitsubishi and put some oil in it.
Yes, and he was my friend, so I was going to let him do that, I mean.
Well, that's fine. You had no right to let anybody else drive the car.
No, I made a mistake.
Yes, you did. Because according to you, you had driven the car before with no incident, right?
Yes.
So even taking your statement at full face value and considering it to be true, you almost had tacit permission of his to drive the car. But he didn't give permission to your friend to drive the car. Is this the person who drove the car?
Yes, ma'am.
Where's the estimate to have the car fixed? Did you have the car fixed?
Not yet, because in order to do it, I was going to have to borrow money from my parents, and I do not want to do that. I'm too old for that.
Well, do you know what the book value is on this car?
No, ma'am, I did not get that.
What year car is this?
It's 87. It's a Jeep Wrangler Laredo.
A Jeep Wrangler Laredo?
Yes, ma'am.
Four-wheel drive?
Yes, ma'am, 6-cylinder.
6-cylinder.
Mm-hmm.
1987.
Yes, ma'am.
I must have back in my chambers my old trusty blue book. Just stay right here, because listen, sir, let us assume that you had insurance on this kind of damage to the car.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Your insurance would say...
Oh, yeah, it's depreciation, I know that.
Your insurance would say, we're not going to pay $6,000 to fix the car if the car's only worth $2,000. You understand that?
Yes, ma'am.
Perfect. Keep him sitting.
Sure thing.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
Boy meets girl. It happens every day on the singles line. Just call our free local number and listen to hundreds of single men and women from Oklahoma City. We don't use 900 numbers, and we never charge you for the call, no matter how long you stay on the line. Call anytime and discover a new way to meet the nicest people in Oklahoma City. The Oklahoma City Singles Line, 524-2030.
It's the richest youth rodeo in the world. The 7th Annual International Finals Youth Rodeo, July 12th through the 17th at the Heart of Oklahoma Expo Center in Shawnee. The IFYR is the training ground for future world champions, such as 3-time world champion Mike Uthier. Contestants from 25 states compete in 10 events, from barrel racing to bull riding. For ticket information, call 1-800-762-7695.
Here we are, Howie, at the Sandwich Olympic. And here's the Steak Sandwich Supreme. So much meat and so much flavor.
The judges look pleased, and here are the scores.
It's a perfect 10.
Steak Sandwich Supreme from Del Rancho, the new champion.
This summer, grab a vine and join the fun. Newsweek raves, Tarzan packs an impressive cargo of laughs.
I've never seen him so happy.
And give it a week.
Tarzan, rated G, now playing.
Batten down the hatches for adventure. Doggone Productions presents Torpedo Patrol. It's high drama on the high seas.
I'm hungry, Skipper. Get a hold of yourself, Kowalski.
Starring Nick Powers as Corky Nimitz. And introducing Torpedo 1 and Torpedo 2. Plus Niles Calhoun as Torpedo Mike. Torpedo Patrol, now playing at a Taco Mayo near you. Taco Mayo, eat 'em up.
Save $27.50 on Tacoma. Right now, save $2,750 on Toyota Tacomas. Tacoma 4x2 regular cabs have $27.50 in savings. Hurry in to your Toyota Power Team dealers. The new Toyota Tundra has arrived. Tundra has the only 32-valve direct overhead cam V8 engine in its class. Come test drive Toyota's new full-size powerhouse. Hurry in to your Toyota Power Team dealers.
Want justice? Call 1-888-800-JUDY. On the internet, judgejudy.com.
All right. I feel like Inspector Clouseau. Miss Cole, before I give you the bad news, I got a couple of questions for Mr. Edgar.
Yes, ma'am.
When did you buy it?
1992.
And what did you pay for it?
I cannot remember. My parents bought it for me.
You couldn't.
No, I did not pay for any of it. It was $3,000 or $4,000, I believe, at the time.
Did they pay $3,000 for it or $4,000 for it?
One of the two. So I have no idea, but that's what I'm estimating. I did not know how much they paid for it. They bought me the car.
So you remember them telling you that they paid either $3,000 for it?
No, I'm saying that's probably what's the value of it.
What makes you think so?
Depreciation.
What kind of condition was the car in?
It was in fine condition. Had 45,000 miles on it. I remember that.
Are you dying to say something? You're the one who was driving the car?
Yes.
Well, you'd had no reason to drive that car.
I know I didn't, but, Clark gave it to Sarah. That's his friend. Clark borrowed the car from Matt. And then Clark had no business giving it to Sarah either.
You had no business driving the car. I'm believing what she's telling me, which is she had to drive the car because she had an emergency. She left work.
The car was not in good condition.
What was wrong with it?
Well, it was old. It was a piece of... I'm sorry. But no, it was not in perfect condition. I know it wasn't.
Sit down.
Okay.
Mr. Edgar.
Yes, ma'am.
If in perfect condition, the car is worth $65.25. The wholesale price of the car is $34.50. The mean, somewhere in the middle, if you add up those two numbers, is $4,987.50. That's what the car is probably worth. Now, the only other question that I have to ask you, Miss Cole, is as follows. You have a nice Mitsubishi 3000?
Yes, ma'am.
I don't know. Common sense would suggest to me that if somebody borrowed my car and without my knowledge let somebody else drive the car, and when that other person was driving the car, they either got into an accident or they hit a pole or the engine started to smoke all over the place, and there was some indication that it was because it was driven in gear. I mean, I don't know about these gear things. I don't touch the cars that have those doodads on it. But that I would think that that person was responsible. So judgment of this case is for the plaintiff for the amount of $4,987.50. That's all.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. And on the next Judge Judy.
He paid some sort of advance.
Yes.
She claims her mechanic went into sexual overdrive.
He grabbed my hand and he also tried to kiss me.
And you said to him, leave. And he left.
Yes.
Judge Judy Justice.
Pick Hot Pockets and get real food with real ingredients. Real cheddar cheese, real roast beef, real vegetables, real food for a busy life.
Hot Pockets!
Is your child going through summer brain drain? Then it's time for Hooked on Phonics to help send your child back to school a better reader. Call 1-800-ABCDEFG.
This dry skin itch.
He could be scratching to infection. You need Lanacane cream, now with antibacterial. Lanacane, the only itch killer that's a germ killer, too.
She blew it up and didn't even have it towed. We ended up having to tow it. She called.